Welcome to the MSME show. This morning, we are going to be having a panel discussion on the economic package released by the Government of India on MSMEs. We have an esteemed panel of guests joining us. Meet Mr. N.P. Desai, Chief Consultant with Growth Idea Lab, a serial entrepreneur. He has been on a mission to revive sick MSMEs all over India. Then we have all the way from Ahmedabad, Gujarat, Mr. Amal Dhruv. He is a practicing CA, a finance consultant, director in many companies, and a visiting faculty in the prestigious IIM Ahmedabad and the Entrepreneurship Development Institute of Ahmedabad. He's also authored Finance Fundas. We also have joining us from Mumbai, Mr. Sandeep Parekh, Vice President of Chamber of Small Industries Association. Before opening the discussion, I would just like to take a moment to thank all our guests for joining us here today. So let's start with you, Mr. Amal Dhruv. Let's take a step back and just revise what all is the part of the package.
Very comprehensive question, Arushi. It's a huge package. If you look at only MSME sector, it is covering nearly 6.5 lakh crores of rupees. And a very major component of that, correct? Nearly 3 lakh crore is that any person who has borrowed from bank within a particular limit will get 20% extra borrowing in order to swim through the crisis which has been created because of COVID. This is something which is coming very close to your pocket. This will help the MSME to have equity or non-burdensome finance in their own hands. And all these three put together, it is estimated, is going to help nearly 6 to 7 lakh MSME. It is not able to, because 97% of the MSME sector is a micro sector. So for them, how much of this will, perhaps the first thing will percolate into them, 20%, if at all they have borrowed from the bank. So this particular package is that way very wide spread. In short, if I have to say, the MSME sector units have not been given anything directly. They have been asked to borrow. Even this 3 lakh crore which I was talking to you about is going to be a term loan to be repaid in 4 years' time. That means that you are not dishing out anything from your pocket. You are giving them a temporary support of 3 to 4 years, during which they can come to line and will be able to repay within 4 years' time the loan which they have taken. So in other words, it is a long-term, as far as the macroeconomic aspect of this package is concerned, it is very well planned in the sense that it does not amount to printing of notes for a longer period of time. It is printing of note only for a limited period of time, because all the money which the MSME gets is by way of loan. And once the loan is repaid by them, your excess note in circulation or money supply will comes back to the Reserve Bank of India. Therefore, this is a very smartly planned package. But what the MSME is, sort of, there are two types of illnesses. One is chronic. This will save or help the chronic ailment. But the immediately is an emergency. It's like a person with a fracture going to a doctor and is having also ulcer. The doctor is supposed to first look at the fracture and sort that out, because ulcer is going to take time to heal. So you have really helped the ulcer part of it very well. But as far as the fracture is concerned, it's going to be difficult. Because tomorrow, on Monday, when the units start operating, you will need money. And if you are in a micro, and the major problem is going to be faced by persons having turnover of less than 5 crores of rupees, those who are on the 50 crore, 100 crore and all, we not have a problem. These people will have a problem of paying salary of April. Many of them have not paid salary. They might have to hire people in order to start by paying them more wages until the regular employees come back. So these people really need a support, and something could have been thought out for the micro level entrepreneurs, which in fact, looking at it, I remember one kahavat. They're saying ki water, water everywhere, not a drop to drink. In fact, MSME sector will look at 6.5 lakh crore of rupees coming to them, but they will not get a 10,000 rupees in order to pay the electricity bill and start his unit or open his door. So there could have been something more direct to them, particularly the very small ones. Otherwise, it's a very comprehensive and it's a budget. Anesthesia देने के बाद operation करो. Anesthesia नहीं मिला है.
That brings me to the Mr. Parekh. Taking this forward, a couple of days back in an interview, you said you're disappointed with the package. What is your disappointment with the package? If you can spell out that.
Sir, before I start, I would like to appraise you only one of these statistics. As Mr. Amal says that 97% people fall in micro, 2% in small and 1% in medium. These are all the government released data. It's not my data. The GDP contribution of MSMEs is as high as 30%. And the export contribution is as high as 40%. And is the second highest employer after agriculture in our country. So it shows that how much important this sector is. We were totally disappointed. We were really looking for a good package. I would call this as a budget and not a package. The whole 6.5 lakh crore which is given, how much will a micro industry, in fact, FM in our own statement has said that 45 lakhs of MSME will get this benefit. In this equity issue, this thing 2 lakh people will get benefit. Now imagine there are 6.2 crore MSMEs in the country, employing 11.5 crore people. Now out of 6.5 crore, you are talking about 60 lakhs getting benefit. Okay, that is not correct. And all these benefits will ultimately go to medium. Now more so when this changes in the limits what they've done. I don't call this as Krantikari because this was a reform. It was expected since 2006. They have done it in 2020. It was not required to do at this time. But all the benefits will only go to medium. Micro and small will be left on the road. As far as Provident Fund, the only 2 or 3 small things they have done, which is not at all very something to mention, that 2% of Provident Fund will be reduced from 12 to 10% for 3 months only. Okay, and something to laugh was that all the MSMEs will be paid within 45 days by the government and PSU. Now this is not a big favor you are doing. MSMED Act says within 45 days everybody has to pay MSME. So it is not part of a package. Giving income tax refunds is not part of a package. In fact, it should be asked that why you are not given refund for so long. So these are all the things which are only an eyewash, what we call. And even in the Provident Fund, as to correct Mr. Amal, ESIC, there is no exemption given, no waivers given. It's only in the PF. That too with people who have got salary less than 15,000 rupees, 90% people in their this thing. Company like state like Maharashtra, the minimum wage is 10 to 11,000 rupees. How 90% of the people will be below 15,000 limit, that is to be seen. Even what MSME was expecting, and we have been talking to the ministry, we want waivers, we want concessions, we want interest subventions. We do not want moratoriums. We do not want loans. You will see that all these moratoriums and extending of this NPS and all, after 1 year, you will see that either the MSME will be in trouble who have taken this moratorium, or the banks will be in trouble. So you are only shifted the NPAs from now to little further by telling people that, okay, we have given you money. It is not, as Mr. Amal says, that you are ultimately borrowing. It's not given as a concession to you, and you have to pay interest, and not only interest on interest. And the MSMEs will be really in trouble when they start paying that. Other thing I wanted to say is that whenever such statements are made by the government, RBI is supposed to release immediately this notifications for their own banks. Now, can you believe that in February, when the budget came, the MSME was given 2% subventions in interest for new industries? Okay. Till now, the banks, when people reach, they say that we do not have such letter from the RBI. Can you believe we are 4 months down the line? So government should also make sure that whatever they notify is immediately informed all the banks. So down the line at the chief manager level, people know about that. As far as these 3 lakh crore loans, as Mr. Amal says, and of course the putting this equity, what they call as fund of funds, what they've done, 50,000 crores, that will be only used by medium. How many people are on an NSE of an MSME? Only few medium term people. And when they're saying that, okay, we'll give you 20% additional loan collateral free ad hoc. So there are 2 questions here. There are certain micro industries who work without bank loans. How will they get that 20% more? Are they going to apply again freshly to the bank and start all the procedure? And secondly, this 20% also they are given as on 29th February. Now, 29th February, what is going to be my balance in the bank, and why I kept it for the March ending, or why I have not kept it for the March ending? It's purely a judgment. So what I feel is that out of 6 crores, only maybe 10% MSME will also not benefit, and government should have been little more proactive in helping not allow migrant workers to leave by giving some facility of allowing us to pay 100% salary, which now people have not been able to pay. If they would have probably stayed back, if many of them would have stayed back if 100% salary was given. And we had said that in ESIC, there are 60,000 or 80,000 crores lying there. We have been paying ESIC for last several years. Nothing has been talked about ESIC. So if you see, somebody has analyzed this budget. If you see, government has not spent even 1 rupee. I'm not talking about 6.5 lakh crores. I said they have not gone out of pocket even for 1 rupee. Only thing they have spent is 2,500 crores out of the 6.5 lakh crores, which is also going directly on the accounts of the EPF or the employees. That is the only damage government has taken. All the rest is on loans. Even the 90,000 crore, 90,000 crore DISCOMs, they have given this waiver to DISCOMs. But where DISCOMs has allowed our fixed cost to be waived, they have told that your fixed cost will be deferred. Everything is deferred, nothing is waived, no concession, nothing is going to help. And we are looking forward for a big destruction. One is the demand destruction, one is the employment destruction, and one is the liquidity destruction, in the sense that I am going to borrow to fund my losses. When you borrow to fund your losses, your company can never come up.
So, Mr. Desai, having heard what Mr. Parekh and Mr. Amal were talking about, you made a mention in one of the talks that one of the major things that is impacting MSMEs is the lack of operational efficiency. Do you think if the MSMEs were to be given cash handouts, knowing many of the micro businesses, one of the major challenges is with the operational efficiency. They can manage it. I mean, could they have managed it?
Major Shetty, can I first react to Mr. Sandeep and then answer this? Or
Yeah, go ahead.
Sandeep, I'm agreeing fully with you. This is a professor should understand there is no direct benefit. Out of 6.35 crore, only 45 lakhs units will be given, that 20%. So that is about 8% of the total thing. So what about 92%? And that 92% are having more employment efficiency per capita. So that is, government has not looked to them. And the second question, if somebody has applied for a loan, say about in January, February, and the process is stuck, so whether what is the provision for that has not been mentioned. They have given 20,000 crore subordinate debt. As I am understanding, neither banker nor the entrepreneur understands what is a subordinate debt and how the mechanism will work. MSME requires a equity infusion rather than this kind of thing what they have given. And nothing, government has not given a single paisa from their pocket except something for PF and other things. Nothing has come. That 200 crore global tender and all exhibition participation, all that is a useless thing. It will not be helpful to any MSME. At least 99% will not get benefit out of it. So my views are like similar to Mr. Sandeep. Coming back to operational efficiency, there is no measure available with MSME for measuring their own operational efficiency, which I am trying to tell. Analyzing your balance sheet will give you 52 ratios that can be done by you, by your chartered accountant, or we are giving that service free of cost. And this is the lowest lying tool. Ultimate idea is to develop Z-score for MSME.
That brings me to Mr. Amal again. You talked
Yes.
about fracture. So what is that you think would be should have been done to fix that fracture? And do you also want to react to Mr. Desai and Sandeep's comments?
I think I quite agree with the comments which Sandeep made, that there is hardly anything. I also agree with Mr. Nilesh Desai that there is hardly anything actually given except some 2,500 crore. And I said that water everywhere, not a drop to drink. And in other words, there are lies, there are greater lies, and there are statistics. These are statistics. They've added up. But at a macro level, they have done good. So I think they are more worried about the country rating, etc. So that they'll be able to convince that even by saying 10% we have not actually given. But what type of help that could have been given is very interesting question, because it is one thing to keep saying that we have not bought anything, but then how could you have been given? One thing is very clear, that you should have said that at least for 3 months there will be no interest charge on any of your borrowing. That's the first thing. Number two, that if there are any NPAs and all, forget about it. If you have got drawing power, come and take that money. Okay, enhance their drawing power for 6 months and say that in next 6 months you regularize them. Don't charge interest on this. Don't try to make. So these two things I'm sure they could have done. Number one is zero interest for 6 months' time. Release some money against, say, if your drawing power is 90% or 80% of your inventory, add 5% to it. See to it that the viable units are able to get that type of a support immediately in terms of they can issue a check out of it. Some money in their hand. Third, and what is important is that our entrepreneurs are very, very fertile. But there should be demand. You will have to generate demand. If there is a good stream of demand coming, they will be able to do all sorts of topsy-turvies and be able to stay in the market. You will have to finance them towards modernization. Those are long-term things. Segregate, and that is the chronic disease. So tackle chronic disease separately by way of a budget like this, but have something immediately. First aid kit. तो फर्स्ट एड किट के अंदर उनको थोड़े पैसे हाथ में कोई भी तरीके से दो, and secondly, don't charge any interest. No repayment will be there for at least 3 to 6 months. What will happen is, we have had MSME. MSME has been given the best lip service so far, right? There's so many schemes are there. Every bank has got their own interpretation. So a unit will have, and even this will have different interpretation by different banks for different sectors. वो बेचारा कहाँ घूमेगा, that which bank is giving what, which bank is giving what. Whereas Mr. Desai has got a huge work to do in order to guide people that hey, you are an automobile ancillary unit. You go to Bank of Baroda, they've got this thing and they might be able to help you. So in the sense that it's the Chauraha nahi, it's the 40 Raha. There are 40 रास्ते हैं, उसमें से कौन सा रास्ता आपको ठीक रहेगा, वो एंटरप्रेन्योर कहाँ ढूंढने जाएगा? It is very, very, and there is such a smart product differentiation between two banks, right? That is that my interest is 0.5% less, but then you are collecting interest 2 monthly instead of 3 monthly. So these are all some expert will have. So basically, what is required is to guide the MSMEs as to, and you won't have many clients, I'm sure about it, because 97% are completely ruled out. There is hardly anything which is going to them. So it's only the medium and small. They have done one good thing regarding construction. They have taken care of construction sector in a sense that RERA के अंदर 6 महीने का लिमिट बढ़ा दिया. वो वैसे भी बढ़ाने वाले थे, बढ़ाना ही पड़ता.
So Mr. Parekh, everybody has been saying this, it shouldn't have been loan, it should have been something else. Is my interpretation correct that it should have been something like give the money and forget about it? Is that what the MSME is expecting, especially the micro businesses?
Yes. You look at all over the world. I'm not comparing our country with USA or Japan or UK. All over the world, they are giving 4 to 5 months of unemployment allowance. Look at the unemployment. Just now we are talking about 27% and how much it will go ahead. People who have making less than certain money, the money has been deposited in their account by the government. Whereas I feel the biggest dilemma our government and we all have is the data. None of our data is correct. In fact, I have told on in the ministry that your site says 6 crores MSME and 11.2 crores employment. Do you think that you have less than 2 people per MSME? It's drastically wrong. There are people who are not correctly telling how many people they are employing. And I agree that for government, it is going to be very difficult because they don't have data. They don't have account numbers, even if they want to deposit any amount of money. But what really a small expectation we had was at the state level, remove the provision tax. Your collection is 2,000 crores a year. Provision tax is debited in all the workers' salary 200 per month. At least that much you can do. You remove the fixed cost of the electricity charges, which we are not using anyways. You give an interest subvention, as Mr. Amal says, that you give us for 3 months, because when you started the lockdown, it was expected 15 days. Now it has gone to 45 days and now 60 days, and we don't know how much further. So people happily paid for the March salary, but how do you pay April salary? You should have allowed your employers to negotiate with the employees and not go into Minimum Wages Act, change the labor laws for the next 1 year so that it is in the win-win situation of employer and employees, rather than giving an MHA order saying that you all have to mandatory pay. And we as COSIA, we have gone to Supreme Court, we have got an interim relief yesterday. So the banks has to take a hit. Whenever you are making money, banks say we are your partners. But when we are making losses, they are not our partners. They also have to give interest subvention and these waivers. As I first said, the loans giving and moratorium. See, MSMEs are not all commercial people. They are not, most of them are technocrats. They don't understand. The bank will say, I am giving you 15 lakhs extra, take it. They will take it. But after 6 months, when the payment will come, they will realize that they'll be hit badly. Either the banks will be hit badly. So if the banks are not doing this, now banks, when I talk to the RBI and they say that the banks will be in trouble if they waive these interest, etc. Okay, so I said, okay, then MSME will be in trouble. You decide. It's a double-edged sword. You take a call. What is the best in the interest of everybody? But even a little thing like you allow negotiation with your employees. Okay, that was the minimum thing. Today, many employees, I'm telling you, have accepted 50% salary.
But Mr. Sandeep, in that there is also enough evidence of employers not paying at all for to the employees. I mean, you can see most of the migrant workers you've been hearing again and again on television. Many of them have said they were just thrown out. I mean, in my personal experience of places I know of where employers have just thrown their employees out.
So I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Even if the government had given that kind of a provision, do we think the money would have actually gone to the hands of the labor?
Yes, so there are three prongs here. One is that people have not been able to reach their offices and factories because of this containment zones to even make payments. All the MSMEs, 90% MSMEs don't make payments online. Everyone do not have this facility. They have to give them the check. Even if they go to the factory and do this online payment, it is not easy. So when they can't reach, they first cannot give. Secondly, all these migrant workers, some of them are all daily wages kind. So if they have work, they will be paid. It is not that they are like construction industry or some other industries where they are getting money on the daily wages. Of course, nobody will pay because there is no work. But there are migrant workers who have been working for several years with you. Okay, and you can definitely negotiate with them as to this is the issue. I reserve my right to give you the salary if the business goes well after 6 months. Okay, you leave it to the employer and employee, and that would have allowed a lot of migrant workers to stay back. I do not say there will not be an exodus, but a lot of migrant workers, because they did not have money to pay rent where they were staying. So some sustenance allowance which every employer would have given to the migrant workers to stay and to have their food would have been made them stay back, and I think we would have saved at least 30-40% people staying back where they were.
So, Ms. Amal, my question to you is, what needs to be done going forward? We know what has happened so far. What should be the next steps from here for the government to reset or recalibrate their efforts towards restarting of the MSMEs?
I agree with Sandeep that there should have been some leeway given to the employer vis-a-vis the salary, the amount of salary. You cannot initiate Disaster Management Act and say that you will be criminally this thing. That is really hitting them very hard. It could have been 40% or 50%, and then that could have been one. That's first thing to be done. Number two, that do not charge interest for at least 3 months' time, right? The bankers. Otherwise, the bankers, I'm telling you, will have to face this music after 2 years or 3 years when the installments go bad. Correct? So it is better that you at least, if not complete, at least reduce it by 50% or 60%. That is something which can be done. They will give them some advantage. And on case-to-case basis, you allow them to draw more towards their inventory, the drawing power up, increase the drawing power so that they will be able to get. So these are some of the things which they need to do very urgently, immediately. This package is very good as far as macro level is concerned, as far as long-term chronic disease is concerned. Keep that. But for first aid kit, come out with another small package, simple, make it easy for people to understand. These people do not know even English. The 97% we are talking about, they sort of, you expect them to understand this high jargon. This thing is impossible. That's but that is good in its own place. So come out with a small package which is more direct to this. In fact, the state government should use the cooperative bank model and reach this MSME sector through cooperative banks. A lot of work is required to be done. This is the total amount which they are talking. Then out of it, how are you going to organize it sector-wise, state-wise, and bank-wise? Sort of a lot of analysis is required to be done at the macro level in order to. I don't think any of the package thing will see light of the day for at least 3 to 4 months. It will take time for you to distribute how much to auto sector, how much to this sector, how much to sanitary wares, how much to paper, so industry-wise and state-wise and private, and then again bank-wise, which bank will do how much, right? So it will take a long time, and that is the reason I feel there should be a first aid kit for the MSME sector, in which the first M which is 97% the micro, and the startups are going to be wiped off in the sense that the micro, the sort of startup has employed, and he will not be able to pay, all his money is gone. So you will have to rethink on this line. Basically, if I have to cut it short, have a first aid kit type of scheme for MSME where you emphasize on M, the first M, the micro, the 97%.
Basically, give them allopathy medicine, not Ayurvedic.
Yes.
Mr. Sandeep, let me bring you into another, take the topic towards the labor. We know the majority of the labor from the urban India has moved. How much of that is a challenge? And when do you think the labor will be available back? Because my biggest worry is most of this labor is still yet to reach their hometown. And if they're going to take another a month to reach, when would they come back?
I'm in touch with the all India associations. We have 27 associations all over India. As I told you, that most of the migrant workers are from UP, Bihar, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, and it's going to be a biggest challenge. In fact, I know of people, industries who have already started, has been reporting to me that 30-40% workers were not available when they started. And there are some workers who took the salary, whatever 50% or 100% or whoever gave what, they're waiting for that. And immediately after getting the salary, they have left. Now it is gone into an emotional tangent. You see, even suppose we are in Maharashtra, the people who are working with us locally also are now looking forward to go to their villages and to stay with their family. People are scared. People are scared, and in such times they want to be with their family. The families are calling them back that why you are sitting in on a bomb in that area. And to answer your second question is that I don't think before Diwali, because now the harvesting season starts, people will go to their villages and start harvesting. People who have gone back to UP, Bihar, the government has kept them 15 days in quarantine. After 15 days, even if they have found positive, maybe further 15 days, then they'll be given some food and money to go to their villages. They have to transport them, and then they'll start harvesting. Their families are not going to leave them. If the local state is giving them some, now they will be all transferred to Manrega, so they will get their money. If the local states are giving them some boost to work locally, then I don't think more than 50% people will also return before Diwali. Before Diwali, for people to return is very difficult. Even after Diwali, not more than 50% people will return.
All these years we have been crying about our cities, urban India, being overcrowded, and there have been many think tanks who talked about how we should create jobs at village level, district level, so that people go back to villages. Don't you think this is an excellent opportunity for us to actually do that now? Now is the time to do that theory?
Always been crying that urbanization we have to manage, and it's troublesome. So here is a God-sent opportunity. So what you do, that you train fresh people, right? Spend a lot of money. Government should give money to train, because there is unemployment in urban sector also. If these people have gone away, there are many other unemployed who are there. And some people are going to come back. So go in for automation, go in for training these people. And if the load of population has gone to rural sector, rural is going to prosper more. If you look at the package which gave yesterday, and in rural economy is going to really boost up, and there will be some different jobs, and these people are flexible people, and having experienced 400 kilometers of walk to go back to your place, sort of only a crazy man would think of coming back to the same place where still the clouds are lurking large that this might reoccur, right?
Is there a time to move some of, if not all, some part of our economy and manufacturing towards
absolutely expansion? New projects will move more away. In fact, the offices will also move away, because now working from home. So technology training is going to be very important. How to, and I think in days to come, automatically pressure on urban will come down, but the cities will spread to 150 kilometers, 100 kilometers, this thing. And on the outer surface, there will be people staying, and there's something similar to what is happening in Singapore and many other places, where the center hub, people come, go back in the weekend, and the factories and all are generally out. So anyway, lot of some basic change in demography is bound to take place, and it's a blessing in disguise. You very rightly suggested that take advantage that people have gone back from urban and now manage your urban, which is something more manageable than what it was before.
So Mr. Sandeep, your organization is present across India, and do you think your organization can play an active role in moving, if not a lot, some part of the manufacturing and micro businesses or medium or small businesses towards rural India? Is it doable in the first place?
See, it's easily said than done. To move out from one place to another place is not very easy for MSMEs. It may be easy for large industries. And you should know also that all the MSMEs are doing a lot of work for the large industries. So they have to be somewhere around the large industries. So even from in a particular state, if one wants to shift from one city to other city, is not that easy. And our government laws of setting up a new industry is also not that easy. There is no ease of doing business. What government has been talking, as we hear from MSMEs, there is nothing which has changed in last 5 years as far as ease of doing business is concerned. In fact, people are lost in the changes in laws and the dates, and people don't know where they stand. So it is a good move to change. It's a decentralization is the best way to grow for a country, but it is easier said than done, especially for a micro small to shift a place. That expense itself is sometimes not bearable. So it's a call to be taken by the respective micro small, those who are into their own products. They can think about this, provided they also want to shift to those areas, develop the skill there, because the people in the rural areas, they may not have the available skill. So it's a long drawn process. What the government says that we'll be so happy that people from China will come to India and Japan is shifting all the industry area. This is all very long term. Today we are talking about survival. We are not talking about the long term. So government should do something where we survive and then we take it ahead forward with that. As somebody said that 200 crore tenders will not be given to now international people, then it will go to a large industry here. Do you think an MSME will get that tender? And finally, the large industry will give the work to MSMEs. And they will count that 25% of the total work has been given to MSMEs. So this is all a big number game which is played, and the grassroots level is totally different.
Mr. Parekh, do you, in your one of the interview you did express you are not very happy with the redefinition. What's your take?
Redefinition of MSME, no, I said that there are some people who will get into MSME now and some people who will get out of MSME. Okay, so it's not that I am not happy. In fact, I was part of the MSME ministry discussion when this happened 3-4 months back. They have been thinking since 2006 to change the definition after the act came first time. My issue is that why at this time? You know, this is a reform. It's not a package. Okay, this could have come long back. In fact, this has been discussed for last 3 to 4 years in the ministry. Why suddenly you are doing this? Is there some other motives? Is it that some people with 100 crore turnover has approached them that, okay, we also need the benefit? You'll be surprised. I've been always fighting with the government that you are taking the opinions of CII and FICCI, who are all very, very large people, and they are commenting on the MSMEs. They have no experience of any MSME. And one of the biggest builders in Bombay, I don't want to name, he is on an MSME list and he has been interviewed what MSME wants. So basically government should go to the people who are knowing grassroots level what are the issues whether this turnover, etc. Of course, they had earlier gone to medium turnover to 250 crores, up to 250 crores, which we had objected, and we had talked 100 crore, and I think that was one of our points, that it should not go beyond 100, because up to 250 crores. So what happens is, in a nutshell, that for an MSME, government has certain rules for the banks, that they have to lend minimum 20% of the working capital to MSMEs. The government and the central government department, the state government department has to minimum give 25% orders to MSME. So what will happen now? Now all the medium industries who are going beyond 75 crore turnover, they will be starting getting all the facilities. So bank will say, I have done my duty of giving 20%. So the micro and small will suffer. The time you increase the limit for the turnover, the bigger people will come into the picture and the smaller people will be left behind. So, but I am surely not objecting to this limit increase. The plant and machinery increase has to come, because this is a 2006 Act. We are 14 years ahead, and you cannot say that we will keep 25 lakhs as a plant and machinery limit for micro industries. And they have merged service and manufacturing this time. I don't know what is the reason, but even I'm told that even the traders are getting into this MSME and taking full advantage. Just to tell you that you'll be surprised that if you go to the MSME figures data, the highest number of MSMEs in India are from UP and Bihar. Can you believe this? Highest number of MSMEs are from UP and Bihar. So are there the genuine MSMEs? They are only on paper. Are they really working? These are all self declaration. Government gives it on computer. They don't even come and check whether you are existing or not. So you never know that all this data is correct or not.
Yeah, thank you so much, all of you, for being with us. I would just like to take your closing comments and your message for My Startup TV.
There is a lot of uncertainty in future in the whole world. Nobody knows how everybody is going to go ahead in this direction. I feel that I am taking the word given as Atmanirbhar by the government, and I tell all my MSME, better be Atmanirbhar. Don't expect anything from the government. You swim, you are put to the swim in the sea. They are watching you from the chopper. Okay, how best you can swim in this situation, you do it and wait for good times to come. Of course, be positive. Something may happen good. If something has happened bad, something may happen good also for our country, for ourselves. We have to go through this in a near term.
Mr. Amal, what's your closing statement?
My closing statement would be that very challenging times are ahead. Number one, a lot of new opportunities will come up. Have a look at them. Number two. Number three, as Sandeep said, you will have to swim it yourself. No one is going to help you. And number four, government should do first thing first, come out with first aid kit type of a program, the long-term thing in budget, come out with a revised budget for the whole country. You are talking about 20 lakh crore, which is 2/3 of your annual budget. So it's the time. Freeze this to June end or maybe September end, and then come out with a fresh budget. In that, you include all the long-term moves. Until then, just do first thing first, a first aid kit to see that the units come back and start working and start generating employment.
Mr. Desai, coming to you, what Mr. Sandeep said, you had made a similar statement, Apna Haath Jagannath. And you also were calling on the MSMEs to be self-reliant. Do you want to talk about that?
See, Apna Haath Jagannath is a basic thing which every entrepreneur from tea vendor to big companies will have to understand. And government packages are to be considered as a bonus. Government subsidies are to be considered as bonus, and they should not depend on that at all, because government, any policy for last 30 years is unreliable. See, I've got one suggestion to make to this government. See, all sick units on 1119, whosoever are there, let them give them permission to run the unit with 3 years moratorium and 7 years repayment. No additional funding will be given to those units. So the advantage will be 1 crore jobs which are stuck up in this sick unit will come immediately, practically in a month or two. It will come in live. Item number 1, and the GST earned by this spending of this labor plus the unit, government will make annually 10,000 to 20,000 crores. And the government, see the liability as on today, NPA is about 1.2 lakh crores. Already 50% provision has been done by bankers. It is in the bank book. So it is not touching any fiscal deficit. And that will give enough time for that banker to evaluate new proposal better rather than spending time on legal frameworks. Court and other things will be distinct, and most critical, private capital will be getting invested, because there is suppose I need some money from my brother and he knows there is a court case or bank is likely to close, he is hesitant to give the money to me. So that will encourage limited liability partnership will be getting encouraged, and capacity which is existing in the economy will become live. If they give new loans, it will take a time lag of 6 to 12 months for the unit to go, and government has to give only 50,000 crore rupees guarantee to those bankers, like what they have given 3 lakh crores. They have not parted with any money. So that will help to encourage the employment immediately, and fiscal is not getting affected.
Thank you, Mr. NP Desai. Thank you, Mr. Amal. And thank you, Mr. Sandeep, for taking out your time to do this. Appreciate it very much.